Hello there. I got Rye on Rye on Rye. Boulevard's Rye barley wine, I guess. They just say rye ale, but it's 15%. And it's double barrel aged in rye whiskey barrels. So Rye on Rye has been something that I feel like Boulevard's been known for. They're one of the first to make this strong rye ale aged in rye barrels and have it be widely distributed for a long time, at least a decade. And then they decided to do that beer and then throw it again in barrels. So this is kind of the popular thing now, is to make double barrel aged beers, where it's not like you take two different barrels and blend them. It's where you take the beer, age it, the full batch in one barrel or some barrels, then take them out of the barrels, put them in barrels again. And what's crazy is that most of those beers are really expensive. This one was part of a 6-pack variety pack of barrel aged beers from Boulevard that have been pretty good. They're not blowing my mind good, but worth it for less than $20 for a 6-pack. There you go. So yeah, it's pretty dark. I don't have my normal lighting plugged in, so it looks really almost not quite stout. Like you can see, it's kind of brown red on the bottom, but definitely that's what a barley wine would look like, I'd say. I don't think they say what rye barrels or whatever use, but it's just rye ale, rye whiskey barrels, no added flavorings. I haven't had, probably had rye and rye, yeah, maybe 10 years ago. Don't really remember much about it, but we have good carbonation. Yeah, the head's kind of sticking around. Bubbles are popping kind of fast, but this glass is not perfectly clean. Yeah, it's a little bit soda-like. If you listen to that bubbling. Yep, and that's rye whiskey. I'm a little bit sick, but I feel like my smell and taste are doing fine right now. And this is definitely a very strong rye whiskey smell. Yeah, it reminds me of the Sazerac. It's not quite as hot, but it has that spicy, earthy, seedy note or something. There's no like caraway in this, which caraway is often added to like seeded rye, but makes me think of that a little bit. And it's not even like bready or really sweet smelling. And that's what I've noticed about rye, is it's just like spicy, in your face, boozy. This isn't scary boozy for 15. But I'm not getting a lot of like, there's not a huge amount of like coconut vanilla stuff or caramel stuff that can happen in like bourbon barrel aged barley wines. Maybe you'll get some of that in the flavor. It's mainly just the big rye and the aroma. And definitely more sweetness in the flavor. Yeah, it goes into a toffee caramel type area, but it's like kind of caramelized, a little bit bitter, not like milk chocolate sweet caramel. Not super sweet though. Definitely warms up the throat, and it's a little bit bubbly. See if I can kill some of this carb. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people complain about beers like this seeming like they don't have much carb or seemingly flat, but I also don't like it when it's like has the normal amount of carbonation that you'd get from, a brown ale or something, or an IPA. Yeah, it's like really spritzy. I don't know, maybe it has to do with the glass being a little dirty. But if you love rye whiskey and rye bread, this is the way to go. And it smells like, yeah, rye bread that's not super sweet. But though, despite the booze, it's not one of those beers where you drink it and it's like so boozy and so sweet or acidic that it just upsets your stomach. It warms up my stomach, but it's quite palatable. It's not it's not too bitter and hot and scary and spicy in the flavor. And there's some oak tannins kind of drying up that bit of sweetness, but it's for Maybe calling it a rye, just a rye ale, is good because a lot of people think of a barley wine as being sweet. And this is also not like an American barley wine where it's big on the hops, or more of an old-fashioned American style barley wine. Now, a lot of American breweries make barley wines that are not like, Bigfoot from Sierra Nevada. Those types of ones that sometimes are even dry hopped. And it's got a good amount of color. You can see that the head is not white. It's kind of a tan cream sort of color. But maybe it's a bit one note. Is there a hint of tobacco-y vanilla stuff coming out now? Maybe. But for something called Rye and Rye and Rye, you kind of expect it to be a little bit one note. Maybe there's a hint of sort of Coca-Cola nuttiness. Not root beery. It's not soy saucy. It's not really molassesy. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a nuttiness, almost more than a vanilla type thing. Cola nut, rye bread spice, sort of caramely, sort of toffee. Yeah, I think the aroma is opening up as it warms now. Yeah, can you make rye caramels? I guess that's what it would be, like a caramels with a little bit of a bitterness, a little bit of a something. I don't know how you do that. Maybe you could use rye malt syrup and add that to it or something. But clean and surprisingly drinkable for 15%. But yeah, you feel that within a second of drinking it, it's warming up my stomach. So this is definitely a sipper, but it's something that could go well with a bunch of candies or cookies you're having over the holiday season to kind of offset that. This might be what I'm going to do about now, but they might also not mix well in your stomach. For a rating, it's over a 4 for sure. But it's just not exactly a style I'm crazy about, but it's really fun to try. The mouthfeel is pretty big, but yeah, it's not massive. If you're looking for something thick and sweet, this is not the one. This is all about just the rye. And now there's a lingering, tangy kind of fruitiness. It's not quite cherry, but it's some kind of dark fruit. Maybe it's date. Not quite raisin. So there is some complexity as you drink through it. That's it. Bye.